Now we want to do something different.
I can't wait to share with the fans what we're working on.
We are moving on. We're building something new, something totally different.
Looking forward, everything needs to be invented. Everything has to be created from scratch. There are no characters that are returning because all the characters are new. It's really exciting to be part of such a big team working on something brand new.
Bungie's next project is obviously incredibly ambitious and incredibly exciting. You know, a new world, a new universe. There's a scale to what Bungie wants to do, which people have not seen before.
We feel responsible for not just telling an isolated story, but for building a universe that at some point is going to become more the fans than ours. It's going to take a life of its own.
We don't know what the future holds. We have to push past that self-doubt and that fear.
If it's not scary, then it's not going to be good. We have other ideas. We have other, worlds that we want to create.
We want to build a universe where any crazy shit can happen.
We've got all that experience making really big games, so we know that what we're aiming for is going to be just that much bigger.
One reason that Tiger is so intriguing to so many people in the studio is that it's reaching players in ways that we haven't before.
That's it. That's going to be fun. Clear the fucking table.
I believe that it absolutely will be a game changer in the way that Halo was a game changer.
We didn't even know how big Halo was going to get. How can anything be bigger than Halo? We'll find out.
The number one priority was to make a world that people wanted to be in. Something that you want to go back to and you want to explore, and to have enough variety where you never get bored.
We take you to a lot of places, you see a lot of things, there's a lot of strange creatures and strange monsters and beings and ships and worlds. You can go from Earth to Venus to Mars to the Moon to Saturn.
What I believe is going to be most exciting for people who play Destiny is the social experience of colliding with other people in this big world. It's not something that happens in most action games.
Your choice of the character class and the character race will condition the way that character is going to evolve over time.
The character that you're building over time, your character, you in the game, is the character you use everywhere.
You're going to see a guy wielding the Cudgel of Xanthor or the Fate of All Fools or whatever crazy names the writers come up with for these weapons and armor, and you're going to understand where they came from and what they went through to get there.
In Destiny, we've gone to a 3-weapon system. So we have a primary weapon slot, and that's for the very versatile assault rifle style weapons. And then we have a special slot that's useful for, like, in the moment, this gun is easily my best option. The totally new one is the heavy slot, and that is all about causing unrealistically large amounts of damage over a very small window of time.
One of my top features in the game is the new elements of cooperative play.
We want them to meet different people or invite their friends into that experience. We want them to have a great public event that kicks off in this crossroads space where some players are moving towards a strike or other players are on a story journey. There's something really magical about running into another player, especially when you don't expect it. So you hear shots ring out and you look to the left and there's your friend. There he is, like there was no matchmaking, he just popped right in. It's all your choice. If you want to play with other players, you can absolutely do it. If you don't, you just go off on your own adventure.
This game has an activity for every mood. You walk into these areas where you've got these campaign missions, you've got strikes, you've got raids, you've got public events that naturally occur in the world, and then you also have competitive multiplayer.
Supers are interesting. I mean, it is that sort of raw expression of power, right? So some of them are really easy. Hey, I blow stuff up. Or Hulk smash 3 other guys. Nova Bomb, you're like, yeah, I'm gonna fly up in the air, I'm gonna throw a sweet fireball at those guys, and those guys over there are gonna blow up. It's like, it looks like a dragon, it probably breathes fire.
Getting loot is really damn exciting. It's a satisfying feeling. What is this gonna enable me to do? What did I win? What ability? How's this gonna look?
If we can simultaneously capture amazing action game, but still allow players to customize it for themselves, and they can pick the path that they want to take, if we can hit all those elements, we can bottle up that lightning a second time.
We have this really amazing opportunity to build a world that people want to stay in for a really long time and have that conversation with them. It's really exciting that this time it's a two-way street. It's not the one-way street it was ever before.
We heard loud and clear what players wanted. They wanted more. That's what we've tried to do in The Dark Below, is bring people more.
It's got more Crucible multiplayer maps, it's got a new strike, a brand new raid, new weapons, got new gear. More story was a core goal for us, so we created Eris.
I am Eris, the last. I have seen what the Hive call a god. I told Zavala, we mustn't wake them.
Eris is many things. She's a vendor in the tower, so she has loot and armor for you to get as you progress in the story.
Kill Sardon.
But she's also the main quest giver for the whole Dark Below storyline.
Omnigul is wicked and desperate. Keep your light safe.
Eris and other Guardians tried to kill Crota. It didn't go well, and she spent years hiding in the tunnels below the moon, waiting for a chance at revenge.
The ritual has begun. Push forward, Guardian.
So one of the new things we're doing with the strike is we're integrating it into the storyline.
We wanted Eris to tie everything together.
Crota's soul is waking.
So she's woven into the strikes, the story, and the raid, and making it all part of that one cohesive experience.
When we sit down as the raid team and talk about building a new raid, we start with, what's the theme? The theme of the Vault of Glass was a descent. With Crota's End, one-way trip became that theme that a bunch of our mechanics and experiences were measured against.
So Expansion 1 has 3 new maps. There's Pantheon, Skyshock, and the Cauldron. Pantheon is our first truly symmetric map. There are 3 lanes. There's Cliffside, Center, and Waterfall. We wanted to have better compartmentalized infantry zones, so Skyshock gives us that. You've got the vehicles owning one space and you've got infantry owning another. And then we have the Cauldron. You've got these unique locations on each part of the map that are very easy to call out. You've got Bone Room, you've got Bridge Room, you've got the Altar, which is what makes it such a good small team map and a good Rumble map.
In the Dark Below, you get new guns, new exotics.
More choices of exotic armor that change the way the characters play. Well, you've got Eris, who's got a hive-theme weapon, she's got shaders, she's got class items, she's got bounties for experience.
We're gonna have new Crucible weapons, a full set of new raid weapons, new Vanguard weapons, and new legendary weapons across the board.
Certainly we're going to explore some stuff that we think is really cool, but we're also going to listen to the community and build some things that they think is pretty cool. Just like we shipped the game and it got into real players' hands and they started to play and we learned so much, the same thing's going to happen with the Dark Below. And I think that's going to change how we look at expansion 2 and what we do next.
The Taken King is the next major chapter in the Destiny saga. It involves Oryx, an ancient hive king, born from darkness, and he's come to the system with a single goal in mind: revenge.
You took my son!
There's a Cabal base on Phobos, and something's going on there, we're not quite sure, and the Vanguard have sent you to go investigate.
We've intercepted a Cabal distress signal on Phobos. Be ready for anything.
It's clear that the Cabal are not leading an invasion, but they're actually fleeing from an enemy.
Oryx is here, and he's brought with him an evil army of corrupted Taken. Combatants that have been ripped out of our dimension and sent back with new powers and new abilities. And they're going to challenge players in new ways.
You might be fighting against the Cabal or the Hive, and all of a sudden, Orcs drops his troops in there, and now you're fighting a completely different set of enemies.
We want the tone to impress urgency on you. We want you to start to feel like, wow, this Oryx, he's here, he's coming for me and my friends, and we have to stop him. Because we want to wear his like a hat. Like, we
wanted to do something that retained elements of where the Taken came from, but that unified them. So they've got like this supernatural flame that's burning them from the inside. And because we wanted to communicate their will being erased, they tend to have jitter in their animations and sort of a tortured look to them.
One of the design goals for the Taken was to make the alien races of Destiny feel even more alien.
In the Taken King, you're going to go to a new destination, Oryx's Dreadnought, his massive castle in the sky, and you're going to have to explore it, and you're going to have to track him down and find him. It's like a giant, evil mausoleum. There are puzzles that at first you might not discover, you might not even understand.
They've got prisons, summoning pits, they've got ceremony, and all those things are combined in this giant floating fortress.
The place is ancient, it's millions of years old, and it's filled with loot. The city and the Vanguard realized we're not powerful enough to stop Oryx. We need to rediscover some of the lost arts of our forebears. And so you're sent off on a quest to discover these former powers that Guardians used to have. We have 3 new subclasses: the Night Stalker, the Stormcaller, and the Sunbreaker. The Night Stalker gives the Hunter a support class that he doesn't have right now, and allows him to bind his enemies with a void-powered bow and arrow.
He brings that bow back, hits a guy, charges up, and then goes out, captures the other guys. Instead of just like a one-off, like, it's just a little bit more exciting.
The Warlock is the Stormcaller, involves calling forth a storm of arc energy to decimate your enemies.
Gets down in crouch pose and then blasts out, lightning strikes him, he becomes infused with that energy, and now you're just roaming the map like an electric god.
The Titan Sunbreakers are Solar Titan subclass. You get to wield this awesome flaming hammer.
He crouches down, like creates that hammer, and then just throws it. We wanted it to feel like anytime you come around the corner and you see that guy, you just want to run.
Mayhem is a brand new competitive mode in the Crucible. We wanted to see what happened when we let ability energy recharge and super energy recharge really quickly.
How will you fare against utter chaos, Guardians?
And that's where the name Mayhem comes from. So it's essentially team deathmatch, but everything is turned up to 11. Rift is Destiny's answer to a capture the flag style objective mode. Your team has to grab the spark and then bring it to the enemy team's Rift. There's two ways you can do it. You can go in forwards and do the traditional dunk it right in. You can also backflip dunk, which nets you extra points for style. If the enemy team grab it,
you have the spark.
You then have to defend your point and make sure they don't bring the spark into your Rift.
Destiny is a persistent world that is constantly moving forward, and this fall with the Taken King, it's taking a major leap. There's a new villain, new places to go, new enemies. There's new subclasses, there's all new exotics, new public events, new patrols, everything.
We're doing amazing stuff with weapons that we're not even ready to talk about yet. You have new progress for your characters. Your Guardians are going to become more powerful than they've ever been. And yes, we're going to have a whole bunch of new strikes, and we have listened. Like, we know Valistark has too much health. We get it. We have rooms that begin to feel like bosses. They're like a tip in the next direction that we're going to go. And the team's been hard at work crafting our next big raid.
We're on the forums, we're reading Reddit, we're reading NeoGAF, we're seeing what people like, what they don't like.
We wanted them to see like speculative posts about what's where and what's how and how does this all work? Is there an extra chest in the Vault of Glass? Like, I'll never tell. Those are the sorts of narratives that we want to tell as we begin year 2. And yeah, year 2 begins with Destiny, the Taken King.
Get the complete Destiny adventure, The Taken King, Legendary Edition.
Hey, you two, give me a sec. Zavala's doing the hero thing in the plaza. Me? I've got a date with whoever's behind this. It'll be a short date.
Destiny 2 tells a brand new story. What happens when a world full of superheroes loses their powers, their history, and home?
Since Destiny 1 release, there's been no foe that they could stand before and not tip over. Whether it's Crota, Oryx, spider monsters, whatever. But in the opening of Destiny 2, players realize there is in fact a foe who has the power to not only take everything you own away, but to take your power away.
I am Gaul, and your light is mine.
Dominus Gaul is a Cabal warlord who has brought with him the Red Legion and has come to our system to take the Traveler's powers, the light, take it for himself.
Gaul's jealous. He wants to have the light. He wants to be chosen.
Gaul is a different villain. He's not a psychopath who just wants to erase humanity off the face of the earth. He feels like this is something that is owed to him because of everything he's been through.
He's a villain who you're like, yeah, this guy kind of has his stuff together. He's more like Alan Rickman's character from Die Hard. Like, minus all the Britishness.
The Protector itself, the Traveler, is put in a cage, and in an instant, all Guardians lose their light. Unexpected and irreversible. You can no longer go back to the tower. You can no longer even walk. All you can do is stumble.
Nobody expected that light could be taken away once it was given.
The city has been lost and the Vanguard's been cast out, and you are the hero of this story. Whether you're a Titan, a Warlock, or Hunter, you have to go out and get your powers back and take back the city.
Whether you're playing Destiny today or it's going to be your first foray into the franchise, Destiny 2 is a new adventure for everyone.
It's a fresh start for all players.
Destiny 2 has an all-new cinematic campaign.
There's more cinematics than we've ever had before.
How long before the fleet's combat ready?
And more story missions. There's quests, there's adventures, there's going to be people talking to you.
Let's bring them home, you and I.
All new worlds to explore. We've got cooperative strikes for 3 players, new Nightfall strikes, and a brand new raid.
And in Destiny 2, we've built you all new weapons, all new armor, and a pile of brand new exotics. We also redesigned the weapon slots. They're gonna have a kinetic weapon, an energy weapon, and then a power weapon. Power weapons are things like fusion rifles and sniper rifles and grenade launchers. In that energy slot and the kinetic slot, you can have the same weapons. The new weapon plan was designed to provide players with more freedom and more choice to use the stuff that they love.
Each character has these new supers, and they're really changing the way it feels to play the game. We have the Dawnblade.
You can cast your super, you got your sword, and you're flying over everyone, and you can just rain down fire, phoenix, projectiles that just decimate people.
And then you have the Sentinel. A Sentinel is a Titan, and he is able to summon a shield that he can just knock his opponents out with, or he can throw his shield and just bang it off dudes' heads. And then you have the Arc Strider. They summon this mystical staff and wield it like a crazy acrobat, cracking enemies in the head. It's awesome. The idea of losing your home and being cast out and the lengths that you would go to get it back, it's all tied together to be something that's really meaningful.
The sense of starting as an underdog and climbing to a great height is really fun.
Destiny 2 is the place where we get to reach back out to everyone who could enjoy a sweet first-person shooter in a future world with giant awesome aliens to fight and gear to chase and powers to use and say, come check this world out. Come get invested in this world and in this story.
Pre-order and get beta early access.
We have this opportunity that we wouldn't have had years ago to ship a game and then really collaborate with people outside the studio to figure out, like, what is the best version of that?
Honestly, yeah, like we're building something the community has been asking for, and it's accumulation of everything that we believe the game needs to be.
The upside to that is we're not holding anything back. All the feedback we've heard for the last year is, this is it, it's in Forsaken.
We want this release to have a different tone and a different vibe.
We sort of just embrace that Western revenge vibe.
You're going to a darker place. You're going to take on a different role as a Guardian.
A barren landscape with like the asteroid vibe with like tumbleweeds. And I mean, that just sounded cool.
Grit, man. I want to bring the dirt back.
And what better way to start a story than to start it with a prison break?
Right.
Cade's been filling this prison with bad guys that are really bad. And so when it breaks, things can happen to all the world.
First place you're going to go to is the Tangled Shore, which is a new part of the reef that you've never seen before.
That's right, my friend.
It's a collection of lashed together asteroids and rocks out in the asteroid
It's
belt.
very otherworldly, and it's full of
pirates and assassins and
bad guys.
It's become a lawless place. It truly is a frontier. It's completely taken over.
The most malevolent force there is the Scorn. They're very aggressive. They're always going to charge and push you.
The Barons are the top dogs in the Scorn, and each one has gone back and like committed nefarious crimes.
I think of it as the reverse Magnificent Seven, like the worst of the worst criminals. You are hunting down these different Barons. In fact, they're called Baron hunts. So one Baron is a sniper, and you have a sniper versus sniper battle with him. Another Baron is this big, giant, hulking melee character.
One of the things we're most excited about is the new weapon system.
Hey, if you like Destiny 2, great, play that way. But if you like Destiny 1, great, play that way. But if you're crazy, why not 3 shotguns, right? Just for the fun of it.
We need to have as many ways as possible, and then we need to have people fighting about it. Like, no, man, you f***ed up, you're taking the wrong weapons, or can I say
So randomables are coming back. Every single weapon is going to feel different when it drops. And we're improving the mod system, so you can customize your weapon the way you want it.
We've got a whole new masterwork style system coming together where you actually are able to kind of move your levels up over time. And so there's investment back on the weapons again. New supers, yeah, crazy new supers.
What's your favorite?
Fire knives are awesome, which is a different take on Golden Gun.
We took a lot of inspiration from Rise of Iron, cast that thing. You got a huge hammer now, and you slam that thing down, and it sends out this fire in front of you that then creates a fire tornado. We gotta take it to the next level, you know?
The idea that anyone who plays, however they play, they're gonna have some new way to engage.
Yeah.
I'm in love with the new Void Warlock. Teleportation that's like super anime, just like
We've been having great games with the Arc Warlock.
Basically cast this thing, he pulls back. Yeah, and it's gonna break the game, and I think that's amazing, yeah. You know?
We also wanted a new weapon type that felt meaningful, so we came up with a bow and arrow, which seems kind of crazy, but when you use it, you feel like godlike.
It is utilitarian, it's fantastical, it's also sci-fi.
So we have a short range bow, we have a medium range bow, we have a long range bow. We built this guy who's like supposed to be super techie.
You're like, why would you ever choose a bow in a game that has an automatic, machine gun? But boy, it's deadly.
I mean, that's a nice machine gun you got there, buddy, but right, and then it's done.
The biggest thing for me going into production on this game was like a new way to play, a new thing to do that like is new to Destiny.
Let's see what we've got.
We want to be able to give players what they want, but also surprise them.
Gambit is a brand new mode.
Destiny begs to marry PvE and PvP together.
It's like adding bacon to peanut butter and jelly.
You start off being able to see the other team that you're going to compete against, so you can taunt each other, you can emote.
Each team is in their own separate arena, and they're being assaulted by combatants.
They're dropping motes for you to collect, you bank them.
When you put them in your bank, you're going to send a blocker over to the other side. That locks their bank down. They can't put motes into it until they take out that blocker. Filling up your bank with the motes is how you summon your primeval. You burn it down, that's it, round's over. The interesting part is that we allow one person from your team to go over to the other side and physically invade. I mean, I've seen people that just hate PvP. Like, the first time they invade and they get multiple kills, they'll come back and they'll be like, suck it! It's awesome.
We leave the raid team alone. I mean, if you can't tell, like, we just kind of let them do their own thing. But
we have Joe over there.
For this next raid, we wanted to get back to the epic adventure where you're going out to slay a big monster again. This raid has more bosses than any raid we've ever had before, and we're really excited to get players in there.
The raid is actually about more than just the raid. It's about the Dreaming City, the place that the raid exists. And it's an in-game destination that we've never done before.
It's the awoken homeland.
I could talk about the Dreaming City for hours. It's like if the Vault of Glass and Dreadnought had a baby.
If they were like twins.
Or yeah, that's actually more accurate.
Yeah, they're like twins.
It's like you had twins, and then you took those twins and you put them on the doorstep of Peter Jackson, raised them as his own, and then that's the Dreaming City.
It is magical and weird and mysterious.
It's designed to be a destination that has puzzles that you need to solve.
A lot of hidden corners, lots of passageways that might not seem to exist the first time.
And the raiders, they affect this destination. They change it for everyone.
It's like this cyclical endgame place where there's just secrets and different activities that unveil over time.
So the Dreaming City that you see at launch is not going to be the same Dreaming City 2-3 weeks later.
So with every design decision we made for the Forsaken, like the first thing we ask is how will the community react to this?
Players want their investment in Destiny to matter, and they want to be able to see that reflected in the content.
We knew we wanted to do something for the collectors in our game. So we built a feature called the Collections. It's a way for you to track all the items that you can go out and acquire.
There's so much gear in our game. There are 2,000 items you can get. Go get them.
You can look at sets and you can say, I haven't filled out this set. What do I have to do to go get it?
If I want to find like how many guns in the world, I can actually go look now.
We also had a triumphs thing, which is just acknowledging your achievement.
It like ties into records, it ties into lore.
It's a thing that can help you drive like, hey, I want to do that. And if I do those things, I can get a title. Like I can have a title floating over my name that says that I'm a god or whatever. Not me, like you.
We want Forsaken to feel like a game that never ends. So we're going to reinforce the hobby and make the experience something that can be played night over night.
We're changing the weapon slots. We're changing how the pursuits work. We're adding new features like the collections and the triumphs. We built Gambit.
We've got a whole bunch of new weapons to chase, exotics that are really powerful.
We have Lisa focusing on some sweet new exotic armor. Maybe we got overboard, like dialed it too high.
Ore to go out there and collect in the world, exotic armor pieces to go out there and hunt.
We're working on armor perks, random rolls, new mod system, new subclass paths.
We're making Forsaken for people who love Destiny.
Making a game that we can all love, that is the goal. That's what we're gonna constantly be pushing towards, always.
Everything we're building is through that lens.
Year 3 is the beginning of us really looking at Destiny from its heart out. We want to build Destiny for its core fans. We want to make sure that we're building it for the people who love it.
It's trying to make sure that players feel like they're on this journey with us rather than us dictating what they're experiencing.
Sometimes you feel like the events of the world happen, and sometimes you feel like you make the events of the world happen.
That makes me every day go, what's the best version of Destiny we can put in front of players?
The
real thing I think we're doing this year is telling our players where we're going. Like, we're saying, hey, we're back. This is the 5-year vision for the game. A lot of what we're doing this year is to set Destiny into a place where Destiny can begin its next major change. What we want to construct is a world where players feel like their actions, whether personal or as an overall global community, are moving the universe forward in some meaningful way. And so the vision for the game is awesome action MMO in a single evolving world that you and your friends can play anywhere. Shadowkeep is this first step to where we want to get to. Eris is going to make a discovery, and the discovery she makes is really important to where Destiny's going.
Before us lies a dark remnant of their existence.
Players are going to be called back to the moon, a place that they're very familiar with if they were players in Destiny 1, but they're going to find that it's been changed. And part of the game is understanding what changed it, and what has Eris discovered here. And what does it mean for the world, not just in the context of right now, but what does it mean for the game in March, and what does it mean for the game a year out?
You're all insufferable! Save your torment for someone who gives a damn!
You're gonna discover that you're plagued by these nightmares.
Nightmares are manifestations of trauma of guardians who have come back to the moon. They even go further and become enemies that are from the past, that are now real again.
Shadowkeep is not just a destination with a new set of missions on it. Shadowkeep is a transition for the entire solar system of how you play the entire game.
Field crafting choices, deeper RPG chase, like more team play.
One of the first things we set out to do with Shadowkeep was deepen the character sheet.
He was implementing some of the feedback he got from Sheik.
That led to all the changes that we made to Armor.
Armor 2.0 is really all about making every slot on your character sheet have an impact.
Stats are back, there's like more stats than ever. We overhauled the mod economy. There's gonna be a bunch of, mods that you can get for your finishers. There's a whole new crop of weapons that are coming out. There's new seasonal weapons to earn. There's the new Shadowkeep, Astro Shaman-y weapons.
Kind of like old school, magic-y, like imbued with dark power sort of feel to it.
You're fending for yourself. Eris is not trying to protect you. So the weapons just like, they're guiding you through the experience and they're telling you when the nightmares are around.
We actually have it set up that when you're near the nightmares, like they have a bit of this like, almost like you can see through them or there's some glowing inside.
This is one of the weapons that Victor is making. It's a rocket launcher, fires out seeker projectiles, so should be fun.
You're gonna learn a bunch of cool stuff about Eris and this nightmare problem around the solar system, but you're gonna build a bunch of cool rewards. And then, if you don't get rolls that you like, you're gonna go back to the rune table and you're gonna make more. And that's part of being a Shadowkeep player. It's building your character your way.
Try to separate that sort of ramp up cinematic story climax beat movement from the...
Each year we have an expansion set that comes out like Shadowkeep, and we're gonna have 4 follow-on seasons. And the expansions themselves are meant to be an anchor that is gonna set that arc in a place. That growth, evolution, change, that's the stuff that manifests in the seasons. So we evolved the season pass.
One of the biggest changes from the seasonal model you'll see from the annual pass is that we're focusing a lot more on how the seasons actually connect to one another. We want to make sure we're actually threading a narrative that players can follow starting in Shadowkeep.
We're going to start telling one continuous story.
You want it to be meaningful. You want to understand, why was I sent there?
We're actually trying to set up this concept of the season being something that occurs and you want to be there and you want to experience it.
The players are moving the world forward, they're making an impact, they're leaving that resonance in the world itself.
How can Guardians actually come together and do something that unlocks rewards, pursuits, new experiences for everyone?
We want a universe that's dynamic and changing. It's a universe where you can have memories. You can say things like, I was there when.
Every season they log into Destiny, there's a new way to play the game. Season rank, the artifact, the bonus power that comes with the artifact, player elected difficulty. These are all systems that are designed to make the game more compelling as a character building game.
What we wanted to provide with the artifact was an infinite power grind for the players.
The seasonal artifact is going to give you the tools that you need to defeat champions, our new hardest enemies in the new Nightfall modes.
We're calling it Nightfall the Ordeal, so the players can choose how hard they want their difficulty to be. The further up you move in difficulty, the more likely you are to get the kind of rewards that you're looking for.
The end game now is about powering up your artifact to get more powerful beyond your gear, so you get to the hardest challenges. The hardest level of the Nightfall, or you're trying to hit the hardest raid challenge, or the dungeon.
The dungeon that we're shipping in Shadowkeep's time frame is deep within the moon. You fight your way down into like the depths of this chasm, and there's all kinds of traps on the way.
This is an opportunity for people that want the raid experience in terms of the mystery of the activity, but with Fireteams 3.
Charging you up, Lars. Get in there. Go ahead.
We're thinking a lot about how we lay the foundations for a healthier PvP game.
We're really committed starting in year 3 to have a renewed focus all through the year on PvP. That's going to be bringing back Destiny 1 maps. It's going to be bringing elimination into Crucible Labs.
We're doing this really cool thing where we have 4 different iterations. Try them out week to week on the new maps and get feedback.
We want seasons to be relevant for everyone. We want it to feel like everybody has something new to do and feel like they're all doing it together. We're here to build something that lives.
Season of the Undying is when the Vex start invading from the Black Garden. And when they start invading the moon, you get to help take them out. Over the course of that 3-month period, you're going to be getting more powerful, stronger, and then eventually you're going to stop that invasion.
The story that we're telling is about the impact that the Vex can have on the whole solar system if we leave them unchecked.
It's really going to kick that Act 1 of Year 3 off. And then Season 8 gets going with a raid, Vex Offensive, we've got nightmare hunts, exotic quests, explore the moon, new strikes, new PvP maps. There's just so much going on, no matter what kind of player you are.
Season 8 is the catalyst.
Season 9 is really where things start to build, and then Season 10 is where things start to get pretty intense, and then Season 11, everything is going to come together, and you're going to want to be there to see it happen. It's going to be like no other time in Destiny.
Single evolving world is one of the biggest changes that we're going to make over time to Destiny. Getting to that single evolving world is asking us to kind of unlearn a bunch of the things that we've learned.
Hopefully we think we've made the right calls, and if the answer is no, like, the good news is we're in full control to change it. We can keep evolving the game.
We're turning it into a game that we're all proud to be working on.
We have a vision, we have a roadmap, we have a place we want to take Destiny, and Shadowkeep and Season of the Undying are just the first steps.
It's a foundation. This is like the bedrock that we're going to build a lot of other stuff on top of.
Forsaken broke a bunch of the bones that we had set, with Destiny 2. What we've been able to do this year is reset them. Are we done? No, not even close.
guys.